All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Wednesday, September 15th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, at this time of the day, welcome on back for our afternoon meeting. Great to see all of us at first on YouTube. Shout out to Daniel F. Let's do this, Josh. He says he killed it on ANY today. We'll jump back to that stock in a moment, but looks like he did really nicely, and hopefully all of us otherwise did. And great to see all of our students and trial members alike live inside Cyber Group today. We got Michael, Leda, Jeffrey, you got Patrick, who's been all over the ANY trade himself, alongside Chuck, who closed out 80 cents on the trade just before we started. So, hey, great to see everybody. I'll tell you what, I'm down 167 today, so not everybody's up today. But hey, I'm totally fine with that. I'm ready to make some money heading into the market close and finish up the day very strong. So, actually, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our new gold students actually today, Kirk, because actually we're starting with the BTCM stock on the screen here. Yeah, you just sent over a private chat. He said, hey, I'm a new student. I don't really feel ready to put this in the chat board just yet. I don't know if it's a good call out. What do you think about this BTCM? And I'll tell you what, just to begin, it was up near 8% at the time that he had asked, and it's still up 7.31% right now, trading 1.85 million shares across the whole market day today. So heading into this time of the day, this is the type of stock that we would like to put on the list. But what I had told Kirk and what I'll tell everyone here is simply the one issue on this stock, and you know where I'm going with this if you've been following me here in the afternoons. It's the liquidity, just very thin, scarce volume on the bid, on the ask, fluctuating big spread. It's not the type of stock that you should be using a market order to jump into or just lean into the trade. Hey, it popped up really nicely and it was a great call out at the time. We don't control this stock. Kirk doesn't, I don't, Daniel F on YouTube today doesn't, but don't let the stock control you, right? That's the thing, right? That's the last thing that you want to have happen. So for right now, hey, BTCM, we'll put on our main list to begin. And today being Wednesday, I will jump to Bitcoin by the end of this meeting. But let's go right back to the ANY because up until just perhaps over the last 5 or 10 minutes, this stock was one of the big winners that we had today. So ended up making a really nice squeeze up, not right out the gate at 9:30. Took a while to get the gears going on this trade, but once it cracked over 6 and the opening bell print underneath that, it took off. Obviously, ended up making this really nice pop, and it couldn't have gone really any better for us. Now the thing on this trade, and we talk about this all the time as well. It's to say that off such a big pop and a move, you don't really, or you can't really expect to see this stock continue to move up and up and up and up. And if not up and up and up, then certainly not up this steadily, right? This steadily here. So started to chop around. It broke higher, started to chop around, broke higher, ended up topping off right around $7.87 so far, pulling back down right now. So, hey, Daniel F. just got in from 7:30 on YouTube today. Got out at 7:83 just now to end his day. Hey, still joining us right now on YouTube. Hopefully, able to catch one more runner before the end of it all. But yeah, for right now, the ANY stock, we'll put it on the main list for right now. It wouldn't shock me if this is the end of the road though, and it ends up pulling back further. But hey, given where it's at right now at this time of the day, we'll keep more of a focus on it still. All right, so I would have started otherwise. I would have otherwise on INDP, number 2 on the gainers list. Now, I don't know if you have TradeStation. I've never had this happen to me. And TradeStation, I find to be a great broker. To each their own on your opinions on it. We've all had our issues with our own brokers. This is the first time that I've ever seen anything like this happen. Like the whole damn day for me in particular, and some of our other TradeStation traders here inside the room right now. This INDP, just the chart was so out of whack, some glitch or weird issue going on there. Now the data was running perfect, level 2 time and sales, level 3. It was picture perfect throughout the day, but I was a lot more timid to trade this stock if I don't really have a chart to follow. Now, furthermore, I did have Bookmap open for this trade, so I was able to call it out perfectly. I just didn't take part in this run up. So actually, very quickly, allow me just to jump to Bookmap very quickly, level 4 as we like to nickname it. So here is INDP. Now, this is pre-market. So it's to say that as soon as the market opened up, it took off. And then once it rebroke higher off 1250, all of this wackiness here, it got halted on the way up. And then really from that point, it just kept going. really throughout the course of the morning, ended up breaking out higher off the opening halt print 1360 here, moved up, got halted again. Stock went all the way up, folks, all the way up to over $28 today. It was a near 300% move from yesterday's close and from where we had called it out inside the pre-market hours. Fausto had this on the pre-market watch list, mind you. It was up over 100+% from that point. All right. Give me a quick sec, folks, really quick for all of us live inside the trading room. Quick little issue. I noticed that right now from David and a couple of us otherwise. Thank you. 1 second. I got it. I appreciate that, David. I didn't realize that. That's a rare mistake from my end. How about that? I might have to reset actually one more time for all of us live inside Cybergroup. Just bear with me for a quick moment. There we go. Folks, my apologies there. At least for those of us inside Cybergroup on Facebook and YouTube, you're good to go there. But here is bookmap for the INDP. Nonetheless, stock got halted a few times on the way up, moved all the way up towards over 28. But look at where this thing is now. And, obviously, if you're on TradeStation and the charts are all out of whack, then you're not going to be as keen to follow this stock, at least, once this topped off. But look at where this pulled all the way back down to. I mean, basically where it had opened up right around 1185, and it's going to break lower. It's going to break lower heading into this afternoon, folks. It's going to break lower heading into tomorrow morning. I don't want to toss the G word around and guarantee it, but that's a strong belief there. So, the end of the road was, from much earlier on this INDP trade, hell of a move. One of the biggest pops that we caught, at least from pre-market into the morning. Right. So, hey, I know we had sent out an email just earlier today for all of our students inside Cybergroup, Grant, William, Brian, all of us otherwise. If you caught this stock, if you made a nice trade on it, please let us know. Write us back at least from the email that we had sent out. We'd love to hear from you. But yeah, for right now, the INDP for the meantime, here, obviously, but, just dropping and dropping. It's a clear pop and drop move across the day. All right, so I will say this otherwise. What we'll do is go across the gainers and losers list from top to bottom, as as tradition here. The GSKY stock, I will say, we'll skip over, and for all of us inside the trading room, you know why. And we'll keep it going. So IRNT, another crazy mover right now with a very thin order book at least, but as you can see, making a very sharp push up, seemingly from 27 up 3 points north up to 30. I'll tell you what as well, it looks like 30 was a clear top back from last week. 29.96 was the high back from September 7th. So that will be a really strong price level to follow, if not for this afternoon, then tomorrow morning and rest of the week. But, hey, it's a level 5 stock. I say it all the time here. You know who you are, if you should be trading this or not. If you did well on this stock from earlier today, same to be said there, right? But otherwise, I'd rather the majority of us follow a stock like, and it's already on the list, but like an ANY, pushing back up a little bit, back up and over 750. Students like Patrick and Chuck today were killing it on this stock, ANY, especially Chuck. He had a nice call out here off of 7. It made a clear under and over type of move. He had called it out right at that point and led to that run. So, ANY already on our list. Ooh, nice move. And this as well, the MCRB. Nice pop from earlier today and clearly still going right now. Looks like it already popped and dropped from 650. Just look at the tape. Look at the time and sales program. Seeing all of the orders that have already been filled. So you could just see that there was an iceberg order there at 650. Now we got to see if it could re-break it or retest it and break over 650 again. What's the news here on MCRB? I'm just pretty curious for right now. All right, so from today, looks like MCRB shares trading higher after the company achieved enrollment of 300 subjects. I don't say humans, they say subjects. I don't know what that means entirely, but 300 subjects in its phase 3 study for SER 109. I have no idea what that means. So, hey, seems like good news. Phase 3 is what stands out to me there. Phase 3 is the last phase for any, company before FDA approval. That's as far as I know. But, hey, easily said here. We'll put this on our watch list, the MCRB. All right, so the train keeps moving. What else we got? ATNF, I know popped up earlier today. Is that still pushing? Looks like the volume died off quite a bit on this stock, at least from the mid-morning after 10:30ish, 11 o'clock Eastern time. Topped off right around 690 and pulled back. Hey, we had called this out just before, talking about the sharp pop up from 620, but it had pulled back down since. It's not as lively right now, so I'm going to pass on this trade. AMPE, same thing, and we'll keep it going. I see tells near the high of the day, just looking at the matrix, kind of slow, but did pop up really nicely for us earlier this morning. I mean, as soon as the market opened up, of course, you could see it pop from 320 up towards 360. And yeah, for right now, also there's a big iceberg order on the ask. There's some bigger liquidity even above that price, but a 35,000 share sell order. So that's what's causing that top on the tell trade. But easily enough, again, much like the MCRB, right on the list. Also, really quickly, you knew I would say this. I didn't say it right away on MCRB, but both MCRB and the tell trade are both shortable. So if they both crap out the other way, then it could be a pretty interesting opportunity actually as a short. You want to make sure you set stops before anything, because just look what happened on INDP, right? The other way around, if you try jumping in that trade long right after the top and it starts coming back down, that's an ugly trade there. All right, so we keep it going. Keep it going. SM, we've seen this stock make a nice move with the market, and days really like today, actually even more than just today, but days where we've seen this make like a straight diagonal all the way up from open to where it is now. Obviously popped earlier on today and still lingering around the highs. Right now it's trading such little volume per minute, and I'm noticing that right now about 2,000-3,000 shares per minute. That's very light, so I'm not as particular about this just yet, and we'll keep it going. I mean, hey, market's up today, and there's a bunch of other stocks, not even that move with the market, but familiar names that we've called out from the last, few weeks, last month. AHPI, familiar name, vaccine stock, ended up making a really nice move here today that we had called out. Unfortunately, now at this point, it dumped off, but we got a lot to check in with at least here before we hop over to the losers list. SGOC, NAOV, all familiar runners for us in the past. Just look at the daily chart, right? NSPR from earlier today popped up from from basically 4 to 5 and then pulled back. Yeah, I mean the volume totally died off on this stock here too, so we'll pass. All right, that's just about it on the gainers end here. Maybe there's one more that I see. I'll jump to it afterwards, but we'll go over to the loser side, folks, and then if there's anything else that you folks see up, down, left, right, more than 5%, I don't even need to say it actually today. We got a bunch of us on YouTube and in Cyber. We got a bunch of call outs right now, so hey, keep them coming, folks, and I'll check back in with the chat boards just after the loser side here. But BLI, not BLU, not to be confused with the stock from the last 2 days, BLU, but BLI, $25+ stock. Obviously at the lows right now, and this would seem like a really interesting short opportunity. Hey, it has a very thin order book, but that's not going to prevent me from putting this stock on the main list. I mean, again, at the lows, shortable, and not only at the lows of the day today, but I'm realizing this live in the moment. Look at the daily chart, folks. What does that tell you? What does the daily chart tell you right now? Not just lows of the day today, but all-time lows on this stock, right, Norman? So 25, you would assume to be a major support level, provided that's a whole number, quarter century number too, more of a psychological level than anything. There's only 1,700 shares showing from NASDAQ right now, but I would just assume for there to be, more at least initially there. We're going to get the break right now live. We're going to get this break of 25 live right now. Let's say, there's 5,000 shares basically. So that's a little bit more than the 1,600 that we were just talking about, right? Yeah, 25 will be support on this stock. Now, I did have a question from one of our students, Dave, just simply asking, like, hey, like, what happened to Canon today? CAN. He missed trading this morning, came back, just earlier, and he noticed it was down a lot when it seems like the financials are strong. So I didn't check in with the news on this Canon trade. We were following this, or at least briefly discussing this from yesterday afternoon, but today took a huge hit. So I think. Oh, actually, now that I'm remembering it, because it lines up with obviously what had happened this morning, but I believe we did reference earnings going into this morning on Canon. So the news that came out was earnings, of course, but they had said the quarter two earnings results were strong and they issued strong quarter three guidance. So Dave is right with that. Like, the financials seem pretty strong. I have no idea why this stock's down the 12+% that it is. It's really flat right now. If it was pulling back a bit further towards the low of the day off 791, I would be very jumpy as a short. It's too flat for us right now, but I can't explain as to why the stock is down as much as it is if the earnings were as good as they were. Right. Unfortunately, I don't know. Maybe it was a short attack. Maybe a firm was, prepping to load up short and just kill the stock early on. But if that was the case, then I would think at some point in time you would get a more volatile bounce back up. Not to say full recovery, but man, this thing totally just flattened out after the morning. So, if this ends up dropping back a little bit more, maybe we'll call it out. But right now, it just seems like almost too flat there. GSM, shortable, but it's like kind of at the lows actually, but it's just trading such little volume per minute right now, much less even than Canon. So I'm going to pass on this if I pass on Canon. DAO, not much going on there. All right, folks, that's just about it from me, at least across the gainers and losers lists. I mean, I can kind of just assume so. I was going to check out Wynn, WYNN, just pretty expensive gaming stock. I know Fausto was talking about that yesterday morning from the drop off. They dropped off into the close, and then this morning gapped down more. How did Penn National Gaming do, by the way? Talked about that briefly, just saying Penn seemed like a nice downtrend heading into 230 and 230 yesterday. So pretty much right after we finished up the meeting, we saw this big spike of volume. Looks like some short covering kicked in, and it didn't drop any further. Ended up making for a bit of a squeeze, but obviously today ended up making a pretty strong recovery, and so far at the highs. I just wanted to check in with it briefly. That's all, but we're not going to put this on our main list here. All right, so folks, I got a bunch of chat to scroll through here. So really quick, from Doug joining us on YouTube today, URG, definitely, and put this right on the list. It was moving from bottom to top as we were going from top to bottom. ELY from Dan on YouTube, yeah, up 12 or up near 12%. I don't know if I skipped over this. Yeah, I guess I did. Thin volume on the book. That's my concern, but it is trading a lot more volume across the last, 20, 25 minutes. I mean, really compared to, any point throughout the day. So I'll put this on our list given where it's at right now. I don't want to build up too big of a list now at this point, but FCEL moving from the bottom. Yeah, strong recovery off of 6, but more of a side list stock at this point. Quadruple U. It's a slow mover, says Mitch on YouTube today. It is, but it also is moving up really nicely from the last few days as well. Reminds me of BTU. Not today, but just across the last month, BTU's been moving up and up and up. Quadruple U here. Yeah, a little slow there, Mitch, but I'll slip it on there for right now. Very tradable still. All right, so what do we got from Cyber Group here? ATNM from Kesh, I think. Up 19%. Cheap stock, or, right within our price range. But the thing is, on this stock, it's trading such little volume across the whole day. I mean, it meets the bare bones minimum that we teach in class, but I don't know. I'm not as particular about this one right now. If it ends up showing more signs of life, then we'll focus on it more as a team. It's worth making the mention, though, Kesh. I mean, it was definitely, an idea. Just it's trading a very low volume per minute right now. All right, so folks, I'm going to flap my gums about Bitcoin and Cardano briefly. I know we had some chats just earlier today asking me to go over more Cardano today than Bitcoin. So I'll do that briefly, but otherwise I'll just finish up one last call with all of us here collectively if there's anything else that moves going forward. But Bitcoin, we're going to just do mostly hourly charts right now. So I like to focus on the hourly, the 6-hour graph, the day of the week, month, but nothing really much more than that. It's to say that, and I'll go to Cardano for this in just a bit, but as of right now, we've made a really nice bounce from the 44 line that we've been harping on for a while, and it's making a pretty strong push back up to 49 to 50, that range of resistance that I was forewarning us about a month ago. This time, and this is my prediction, if I'm wrong, then I'll be wrong, whatever. But I'm led to believe that this time we're going to see this blow the roof off of 49 and 50. I don't think it's going to be that big of a struggle. So when I told you folks that I ended up actually adding a little bit more right off of here, it was right around 44.7. It was 44,700. Hey, comparative to where it bounced from, not bad. And I think at this point we're in a really good stage with Bitcoin. Now that we're back over, the 500, the 100, the 200, we're still going to shake around slightly, but I think in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to see a really strong push on Bitcoin. Now with Cardano, with the hourly chart here, this is what I wanted to show. Now, if you're a new member joining us on YouTube today, or new student that wasn't here back in late July, allow me just to mention this because I'd called this out. I was saying, hey, folks, watch out for this EMA crossover on the hourly chart between the 100 and the 500 EMAs that I have here, because the last time that happened, it led to a massive squeeze on Cardano. And nonetheless, that's what happens here. It went from like 127, 128, where we were watching it, all the way up to $3.10. Well, at this stage now, I mean, those moving averages crossed around a bit, but we're going to get another crossover between the 100 here and the 500 in purple. And I don't think it's going to be automatic to where it makes that new run like it did back in late July. But the more that it is going to do that, it's just a matter of time before it goes back up to the trend line that I have here, the next pop above it, the run. So I think that we're going to get a strong run on Bitcoin before we get a strong run on Cardano. And hey, if I'm wrong on that, then I'm wrong on that. But again, going back to some of these other graphs, just I would keep a good focus on a lot of these moving average crossovers. Again, not as if they're automatic, as if they pop and run after every crossover. But the last time that we ended up seeing the 100 cross the 500 here on the Cardano to Bitcoin graph, and this was back in mid-August even. So, after the first crossover on the Cardano to US dollar chart, well, led to a huge run. So now at this point, we're starting to get another crossover, or we will be in due time. And I think that's going to lead to our new squeeze. All right. Ethereum, pretty much the same thing happened going back into mid to late August. And right now, you're going to get the same thing coming up. All right. From Bill, am I in Solana? I am not. I'm not. So not to sound selfish here, but at least for the positions that I'm in, I look to analyze those at least during this meeting, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If there is one that you would want me to go over, if we have enough time, let me know in advance. And hey, on Friday, then I'll try and do a quick review for you. I could do that. ANY dropping off, which is not good. I was forewarning us that might have been the end of the road off 780. But right now, if it could pull back down to 7, perhaps you'll find some support there, or otherwise off the VWAP at 703. And OCGN dumping off, it is not down enough really to pique my interest. I don't know if news came out, so maybe I'll check Benzinga Pro fast. If news came out, that would change my opinion on it. Yeah, no news at least just yet on OCGN. I got one stock for us from Benzinga Pro, and then we'll finish up. LODE. Yeah, this doesn't look that great just yet. New high the day alert. That's all I got there. All right, folks, I'll tell you what, we got a good list for right now heading into this afternoon. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 stocks to work with. And really, you don't need to follow all 9. I mean, there's definitely a couple on here that are a lot more volatile and dangerous, a lot more riskier to trade. So as a newly enrolled student, someone that is new to day trading, an inexperienced day trader, you got to look yourself in the mirror and answer that question, folks. I say it nearly every day now because you don't want to lie to me, and furthermore, you don't want to lie to yourself, right? I mean, you're risking your money here, right? The money that you've worked long hours for. So that's where I say, as a new student, as an inexperienced day trader, I wouldn't really want you to be following a stock like a BTCM, although it's popping and at the highs. I mean, hey, there's going to be plenty of stocks that are going to be at the highs, that have much better order books, that are easier to read, that guess I'm messing that up. Quadruple U stock still looks really interesting. And aside from that, we have plenty of others as well on our watch list, like the MCRB, Intel, and URG. So a lot to work with here heading into this Wednesday afternoon, folks. For all of us on Facebook Live and YouTube joining us today, I appreciate you sticking with me each and every day, each and every afternoon. If you have any questions that you would like to ask me, feel more than free to do so by going right to my email address, josh@c2trading.com. Otherwise, if you are ready to join us live inside our trading room, and especially for this afternoon coming up shortly after 3 p.m., we're going to resume our audio commentary live in Cyber Group. Go right down to the link on the banner below just to get yourself started on a week-long trial with us there. For all of us there right now, like Mark, Leda, Grant, Brian, Patrick, Michael, Bob, all of us, otherwise the 120 of us there right now. I look forward to speaking to you folks coming up pretty shortly. Take care.